The strange thing was not that it hurt her. The strange thing was that she had almost expected it. Margaret had spent 18 years learning to expect less. Less help, less rest, less of everything except responsibility. So when her son David guided her gently but firmly toward the back row of that church, past the decorated pews, past the white ribbons, past the reserved signs that did not have her name on them, she sat down quietly. She smoothed her dress with both hands. She did not cry. She had learned long ago that some pain is too dignified for tears. Margaret Osei was 26 years old when her husband left. He did not leave dramatically. He did not shout or slam doors. He simply packed a bag one Tuesday morning while she was at work and placed his key on the kitchen counter beside a note that said the only, "I am sorry. I am not ready for this life." David was 4 months old. Margaret stood in that kitchen for a long time, holding the note, listening to her baby breathe softly from the next room. Then she put the note in the bin, washed her hands, walked to David's room, and picked him up. She decided in that quiet moment that her son would never feel the shape of what had just been lost. She would fill every gap herself. She worked at a hospital during the day and cleaned offices 2 nights a week. She packed David's lunch every morning before dawn, always with a small note tucked inside. Some days the note said, "You are my reason." Other days they said, "I am proud of you." On the hard days when her feet ached and her eyes burned from too little sleep, she wrote, "Keep going, my love. We are going to be okay." She attended every school play, every parent-teacher meeting, every football match where David scored or didn't score. She cheered the same for both. She learned to fix a leaking tap from a YouTube video at 11 at night because she could not afford a plumber. She learned to check a car engine because she could not afford a mechanic. She learned to do David's hair for his school portrait because there was no one else to do it. She became, over 18 years, every version of a parent that one person could possibly be. And David saw all of it. She was certain of that. David grew up good. That was what the neighbors always said. "Margaret, that boy of yours grew up so good. He was kind, respectful, hardworking. He earned a scholarship to university. He called her every Sunday. He sent money home when he started working, even before she asked, which she never did. She thought she had done it. She thought the years of quiet sacrifice had built something solid between them. Then he met Priscilla. Priscilla was lovely. Margaret believed that genuinely. Beautiful and educated and ambitious. But Priscilla came from a family with a different kind of weight. A mother who organized and directed and decided. A family with opinions about seating arrangements and guest lists and which traditions mattered. Margaret noticed the shift slowly. The Sunday calls became shorter. The visits became less frequent. Decisions were made that she heard about after rather than before. She told herself it was normal, that this was what it meant to let a son grow into a man, that love does not hold on. Love releases. She kept telling herself that right up until the morning of the wedding. David had called her the week before. "Mama, Priscilla's family is quite large. We had to arrange the seating carefully. The front rows are for the immediate family on both sides." Margaret listened. "You understand, don't you, Mama? You'll still have a lovely seat. You'll be able to see everything." She said yes. She said, "Of course." She said, "Don't worry about me. Focus on your day." She said all the things a mother who loves deeply says when she is protecting her child from feeling guilty about something he should probably feel guilty about. The morning of the wedding, she dressed carefully. She chose the burgundy dress she had been saving. She did her hair the way David had always said made her look beautiful. She put on the earrings she wore the day he graduated. She arrived at the church holding a small bouquet of flowers she had cut from her own garden that morning because she wanted to bring something living into the day. David met her at the entrance. He hugged her. He smelled like the cologne she had given him for his birthday. Then he took her arm, walked her inside, and guided her to the back. She watched the wedding from the back row. She watched her son stand at that altar and cry when Priscilla walked in. She watched him hold Priscilla's hands and say words about forever and choosing and never letting go. She thought, I know those words, David. I lived them. I said them to you every single morning for 18 years when I was too tired to keep going, and I kept going anyway. But she did not feel bitterness. What she felt was something quieter and far more complicated. She felt the particular grief of a mother who loves her child so completely that she would absorb any pain rather than let it touch him, and then realizes that in absorbing so much, she had also made herself invisible. She had taught him she would always be fine. She had taught him so well that he believed her. The reception was beautiful. There were speeches. David's best man spoke. Priscilla's father spoke. Priscilla's mother spoke. Nobody called Margaret to speak, but when the room was given a moment for open memories, a small gesture from the MC, a young woman Margaret did not recognize stood up from a table near the front. She said, I went to university with David. I want everyone to know something about this man. He kept a photograph in his wallet the entire 4 years. I thought it was a girlfriend. One day I asked him who it was. He said, that is my mother. She is the reason I am here. She is the reason I am anything at all. The room made a sound. The soft, collective breath of people being moved. David looked across the room toward the back. He found his mother's eyes. And for the first time that day, something in his face broke open. He crossed the room. He did not walk. He moved quickly, with the urgency of someone who has just understood something they cannot undo, but must try to address anyway. He reached the back row. He knelt down in front of her chair, right there at his own wedding reception with everyone watching. He took both of her hands in both of his. He could not find words at first. He simply held her hands the way she used to hold his when he was small and frightened, and she was making him feel safe. Then he said quietly enough that only she could hear, Mama, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. You should be at every front, every single front. You have always been my front. Margaret looked at her son kneeling before her. She thought about the kitchen, the note, the Tuesday morning when she decided alone to become everything. She touched his face with one hand. She said, You came. That is enough for me. But they both knew it was not quite enough, and they both knew that from this moment, something would have to be different. Some debts are not paid in apologies. They are paid in the long, quiet, consistent work of finally seeing someone the way they always deserve to be seen. Some people love so quietly and so completely that the people they love the most forget to look back and see them standing there. If someone has carried you through years in silence and sacrifice and early mornings, do not wait for a wedding, a funeral, or a moment of public realization to honor them. Go home, tell them now. Seat them at every front. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.